Japan. I'm coming back to you. There in old Japan, you'll make my
Welcome back to the Nihon No Madoguchi Podcast with your host Domo and
Marty, what's up, everyone? Long time no see. Maybe I don't think so because probably we are keeping up with the pace and everything will be posted as per expected. So no long time no see. But how are you doing, Domo?
I'm doing good. It's again. I think I may have mentioned this last episode, maybe not. I don't remember, but it's finally starting to get a little bit cooler down here. More starting to wear long sleeve shirts, but Japanese weather is very finicky, for lack of a
Mm.
better word. It's it's cold in the morning and the evening, but during the day it's still reaching 20 degrees. It's still getting to those low 20s, which I guess in Fahrenheit, I don't even remember. It'd probably be like 80, 70s, 80s. It still feels like summer. Um, and I hate it. I want it to get cold quickly, please.
At least stable that you know whenever you go out of your house in the morning and you're wearing something that you can wear the same thing constantly throughout the day and go back home. I feel you.
Nah, yeah. I remember you telling me France is quite cold or it's getting cool
Yes,
over there
it's
as well.
I'm not sure about the south of France, where I used to live until this September, but now that I live in Paris, it has already gotten quite cold from probably the beginning of November, end of October, beginning of November. It has gotten quite cold. But still, yes, as you say, there are some hours in the day where it gets hotter. It is funny, especially in Paris, depending on how people dress. You can tell at what time of the day they went out from their house because the weather changes very quickly in Paris. So you can have like 7, rain, 8, sunny, 9, very cloudy. So if you see someone that is wearing an umbrella, you know, he got out at 7 a.m. If he's wearing like t-shirts, yeah, that's a 8 a.m. guy, and 9 if he has like a heavy coat, that is a 9 a.m. guy. You can tell from how they're dressed and everything.
That's insane.
Yeah.
What? I mean, Japanese weather is quite finicky, but I don't
Mm.
know if it's that bad. I
Nah.
do know. I will say there was a period of time during late summer, like it was maybe late August or early September, where there would be days where it would say sunny on the weather forecast, but there would always be some rain that kind of like made its way into Saga. I don't know if it was only Saga, but there were days where every day there was, even if it's just like passing rain, there was rain, even though it was never it was never mentioned in the weather forecast. And so my wife, you guys know, right? Got married recently. Um, she likes to hang her clothes up outside, but every day they would get wet. So she had for a while she would just have to hang them up inside in the house. Uh, and I guess now recently it's finally settled down. There's no more passing rains.
Right.
So she's now been putting them back outside. But that was a weird, like literally every day, like whether it was in the morning or night or evening, it didn't matter. There was rain at
Mm.
some point throughout the day, and it would just catch you off guard. Like this is where did this come from? So um, that was a strange period,
Right.
like almost like either a couple weeks, almost a month of just like weird weather patterns.
That's annoying. And also, if you're talking about the clothes and everything, they may have a tendency to get stinky because they cannot dry
Yeah,
properly. Yeah, I know that feeling. By the way, a nice tip for people that cannot hang their clothes outside, especially if you live in Japan and you don't want to get all these moldy stuff and everything. I found out a very smart way to hang clothes inside is that if you have your how do you call senpuki in English? a,
fan.
a fan. I was blanking on fan so badly. So yes, if you put on your fan on your clothes, then with the air that comes through tends to make the clothes drier better. and they will not get that weird, stinky vibe
Mm.
from when they are not dried very well. Because we don't have a place where we can hang our clothes outside here, and I've been using the fan. It's a
Mm.
banger. That's a banger. So yeah, a
That's a
small
banger.
unrequested tip for people that may have to hang their stuff inside is that, and also it helps also dry the humidity of the room, because having the winds, although it's the same wind that comes inside the house, somehow the humidity level does not
Ah,
raise up to the roof. Yes, yes. So that's a tip for you. Unrelated from this today's topic, neither. Absolutely. Well,
you,
technically
you,
yes, because
you know, you yeah.
you can say that hanging
I,
clothes outside, getting
I
clothes
was gonna.
inside,
You,
just
you
like,
knew where I was
eh.
going with it, Marty. You knew where I was going. I was gonna say, speaking of hanging clothes outside and inside, we can go ahead and get right into today's topic,
Excellent.
which is
So,
the concept of uchi and soto, which literally mean inside and outside.
yeah,
And dang, that's crazy, Marty. We're on the same brain cell. We're
nice.
just like we're. That was a nice little thing we got going on right there.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh, but yeah, Marty, Uchi and Soto.
Right.
What's that? What is Uchi and Soto? And
Oh,
and like, you just give us like a kind of like basic bare bones explanation, just like
right.
of what it is.
Right. So I would say that that's the $1 million question. There are people that are still struggling with the concept on a very deep level. Because on a very surface
Yeah.
level, it's relatively straightforward, and you have this
Mm,
similar concept, although they have not verbalized this concept in other culture. That is something that is deeply related to humanity as a whole, like a society. Every type of society will have a uchi and soto, which basically is your inner living circle and your outer living circle. So the uchi is generally your family, your relatives, or people that you have some deep connection to, right? So you can be yourself around these people, or they are your trusted people. Although there is also a lot of variation of uchi, but let's keep it for the later post post of
yeah, yeah.
and but let's say that there is this difference between the inside of your house, the inside of your circle, and then the outside, the soto, which are all the people that you relate to, that you have some relation, some kind of relation, but they don't get close to you on a personal level. So it could be co-workers, could be people that you frequently meet, but they are not um, as close to you as to consider them part of your family. You wouldn't lend them money, or you wouldn't trust them with something very important, let's say, to put it simply. I would say that pretty much sums up the concepts of Uchi and Soto. But yes, people have written books about Uchi and Soto, so I think it could be worthwhile discussing a little bit longer about this concept.
No, yeah, exactly. It's a relatively, like you said, human thing, a human phenomena, and it's something that's been around. This concept of inner circle and outer circle. It's been around since, I would say, even the start of the beginning of humanity and
Yeah.
the civilization as a whole. Um, you get up, well, once we started like doing like agriculture and stop becoming nomads.
Yes.
um I think you really started to see, like, you start seeing hierarchies and stuff like that, but also you start seeing the the uchi and the circles, the uchi and the circles, the uchi and the sotos
Yes.
start to kind of like take form in that way. And I I wanted to kind of riff off of your
Sure.
you may have just kind of said it in passing, but you were saying, like, the uchi is obviously like your family, your close friends, and those who are inside your house, and everyone on the soto is outside of your house, right? Your coworkers, your colleagues, uh, anyone who's not your immediate family, or
Right.
whoever you consider like very close, someone who you lend money to,
Yes.
right? And In Japanese, uchi, as we've said here, does mean inside, as in inside and outside, but it also can mean house, as in one's house, like watashi no uchi
Yes.
or anata no uchi. Maybe you don't say anata no uchi. That sounded weird. Maybe you do,
Yes.
but
I'm not sure.
um,
Maybe to little kids.
yeah.
To little kids, like when
Uh,
you're talking to them in a friendlier and a little bit of childish way, you can say "anata no
uh,
uchi wa doko desu ka?" kind of
yeah,
interaction.
yeah, yeah.
But
Maybe, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. I can see
among
that. Yeah.
adults that don't take any childish way of speaking, I don't think you say uchi for referring to other people's houses. Not
Sure,
sure
sure,
about
sure.
that.
I don't think so, which is why I kind of like just stopped and caught myself. That
Yeah.
did sound kind of weird.
Mm.
But I think a good way to think about Uchi and Soto, just on a very basic, bare bones, foundational level,
Yes.
is the Uchi are those who you would let into your house.
Ah,
You
yes.
wouldn't, like willingly. You might bring a coworker over,
Mm.
to have dinner or something. Maybe if you're somewhat close, but like regularly, like people you let into, like people who can just walk into your house without, unannounced, right? They just pop up. You let them in. People who stay at your house.
Right.
People who can come over at any point, right? And it be okay, right? They come to your uchi, and
Yes.
and that's okay with you. Whether they're your immediate family or not, if you consider them in your inner circle, they can come in to your uchi at any point. And that's just literally something I literally just thought of as I was hearing you speak about what uchi and soto was, the basic definition. And I was like, okay, actually, that I think that's a good way to kind of think about it, right?
Yes.
Obviously you have your immediate family, but you have your friends who are also in your uchi and things like that. Um, but what I why I kind of we wanted to talk about uchi and soto today is just how prevalent it becomes when you come to Japan as a foreigner, um, because you're automatically in the Soto. Yes, of
Yes.
course you're in no one's uchi,
I would
but
I would add one top layer of that is that you're not even a
oh,
soto, you're a yoso. Yoso means
mm,
outside,
mm,
even outside of the soto, because soto implies that there is some kind of connection, but yoso means that
mm.
you have no bounds at all with the
Oh,
person. So yeah,
yeah.
just to add an additional layer of this social
No,
construct.
yeah, yeah, no, exactly that. Marty, boy, be bringing us the
Mm,
information, because yeah, you are literally not connected to anyone in Japan. Unless you're coming over here because you have family or something like that. If you're just coming over from zero, maybe to study abroad, or
mm,
you just even just to, like, vacation, you are as far out, on the edges, on the fringes of these circles as you could be.
mm,
And once you start to interact with Japanese people, then you get one step closer into the Soto, because now you have a connection, whether that's just acquaintances, shiri, or you may be like casual friends. You might hang out every now and again, but still not on the uchi, right?
mm.
And so we want to kind of talk about that, and our kind of experiences with that, whether that be while we were on the JTW program, or in our most recent time coming back to Japan in the 2020 and 2021. Um, where Marty, he had gotten married, and I came on the Jet program, and what that kind of looks like, and even how our experiences with Uchi and Soto outside of Japan,
Right,
right? Because it's not a Japan only concept, and it's just that Japan has given it a name. It is kind of codified it into its culture. It's
right,
made it a huge part of its culture, and you should know it well, if you
right.
want to um, get along, navigate your way through these Japanese streets. Uh,
Most
so yeah,
definitely.
just to kind of, yeah. Sorry, yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
maybe just an interesting premise is due regarding this before we start speaking about our experience and everything is that I personally feel like this. So I'm not saying it is true, but that is my impression is that Japan as a culture, so Japanese as a culture, has a strong tendency to codify and to conceptualize thing verbally and also like in a more construct way things that are true for everyone. Like now we are talking
Mm,
about uchi and soto that exist everywhere, but you can also have tatemae and honne, which is another. I think we
yeah,
already briefly talked about this topic of like having a public face and a private face. That is something that is applicable, at least in Europe, everywhere, but we don't have a name for that. But Japanese do have a
Yeah.
name for that. They have a concept. So they have conceptualized these social interactions in a more
Yeah. Yeah.
verbally way. So they given a name to that, and that they do that for a lot of things that we don't do. Probably it is also related to the having kanji, meaning that you can create
Mm.
word more easily than just having verbal, like only alphabets. The alphabet gives you less possibility of creating new words or conceptualizing things. Like taking this is a kanji on itself, but if you take the roof and you put a pig under the roof, it makes your house, because I don't
Yeah.
know why they had pigs in their house, probably, but visually you can do that with many kanji and patch them together, and you get a new words like the Yojijukugo. All this to say that yes, although we will be talking about Japan, that is probably also applied to any other foreigners going to different countries. It's only that in Japan it is a
Mm.
little bit more constructed, a little bit more on the play, but not in the sense of enjoy, but more in a theatrical way. So there is more of a um, I'm lacking the word here, but a more of a social construct, a more rigid kind of social construct that you may have in other country. And with this stated, please, Domo, go ahead, and with this long ass premise, we can start with the with the
No, no,
topic.
I think it was a well needed premise. It was a well needed premise because that what you everything you said is true,
Thank
right?
you.
Japan
I hope so.
just like to add names. No, 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 no. They like to add names for things that are, kind of like a generally experienced as a whole, as for humanity as a whole, right? In
Mm,
any country you go to, for the most part, which is quite interesting. It's an interesting part of Japanese culture that is worth study and has been studied for many years.
yeah.
Now going on right on into let's hop right into this topic
Right.
of Uchi and Soto and our experiences with them. Marty,
Yes.
tell us,
Hey.
um, uh, since your initial, time in Japan, which was pre JTW, pre our
Yes.
coming like our study abroad, up until now, how many Japanese friends would you say that you have?
Japanese friend that I have kept in touch with regularly and I'm seeing multiple times. Maybe another premise, I'm not a very social guy, so I tend to most of my relation tend to drift away, or I tend to drift away from my social relation depending on where I am.
Uh,
But yes, I would say that I have about 3 to 4 Japanese friends that I'm regularly keeping in touch with, and with the addition of the house, my host family, it's plus let's say add 4 people to this, so in total 7. We'll probably talk a little
mm,
bit more in detail about host families, programs, and stuff. But yes, around 8 people, I would say. 4 friends and 4, which is a family as a whole. Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, I think that's a reasonable amount
Thank you. What
of
about you, Domo?
friends to have. I mean, like it's just in, like for someone who said you're not that sociable,
Right.
right? Or you're not that. Social, 8 friends is a lot.
Yes.
I don't. I like. I think the way that I classify people as friends
Mm,
might be slightly different. Um, but I would say, like you said, if we're doing like the meet regularly slash contact regularly,
right.
um, and kind of we're friends. I don't know, what else to say about it. Um, I would say outside of my a few of my work colleagues who I
Mm,
do consider friends, because we do outside of work we do message. Um, I would say, and also my host family up in Fukuoka, as
right.
Marty knows, including them, that's 4 as well, and I would say 6. at the most. And I think we're very similar, Marty.
Right.
I am not that. I'm not the most social person.
Right.
And I am the type that will message you once every blue moon, like every couple months, and we'll pick back up where we started.
Right.
Wherever the conversation ended at that point. And there's not a lot of I don't have a lot of Japanese friends. Just in general that I message often.
Right.
It might be like literally outside of my wife. There's not a lot of people I message on a daily basis. I message her because she's my wife, right?
Right.
I message her every day. It's everyday thing. And
I don't do that neither not even for my wife. I message
I mean,
daily.
you're a veteran.
Right.
You're a veteran.
Back in the days as well. Back in the days as well. I have never messaged anyone daily in my whole life, probably.
No, I mean, I've made an effort to message her daily because I know that I won't if I don't actively do it.
Right.
And outside of her, right, I have a handful of friends back home in America that I message from time to time. But in Japan, right, obviously I have our friends from JTW. Don't really message them at all.
No.
I think I saw my tutor. I went to his wedding last year.
Right.
No, wait, this year. All right, yeah. But outside of that, we haven't messaged each other. That we just don't talk.
Right.
But if I consider him a friend, I would say partially. It.
It also seems to be. I don't want to do a generalization here, but generally speaking, in Japan, having friends, even among Japanese people, it's a little bit difficult. Like they don't have, especially when they become adults and they become active workers, they rarely have a lot of time to spend to meet friends on a regular basis. I think that they have to make the effort to find some time to manage some time to meet their friends. So it is something that is affecting a little bit Japanese society as a whole as well. The fact that you're lacking time or you cannot really make time in both people's schedule to meet. And usually most of the people that they have in their inner circles are workers, co-workers, because simply they don't have time to meet other people. I think that's something that affects adults as a whole as well, but in Japan is even more predominant probably.
No, that's exactly right. Which is why I was saying, I have a coworker who is actually not a coworker because when I came to Ureshino, there was no station. We didn't have a train.
Right.
Now there is a station. We have a Shinkansen that goes through.
Right.
And we had a guy named Eguchi-san who he came from JR, right? From the main office. And he came to Ureshino to help with the process of getting the station open, right? Getting it prepared for this grand opening. So he was at the city hall. He was in our department for like 2 years. From 2021, I think he left 2023, like March 2023.
Right.
And I would say he was probably the person I was closest to in the whole office.
Right.
Now he's left. He's finished his his business in Udeshino. Now he's back working for JR at some station, and but we still meet up every now and again to go bowling because we both enjoy bowling.
Nice.
Which is why I do consider him as a friend. And there are a couple of other guys in my department who are a little bit like a couple years older than I am, right? So we're around the same age, which makes it easier to kind of chat and whatnot. So I also consider them friends. So yeah, maybe it's around 6, 7, I guess. But outside of those guys, and those were purely proximity, right? They were just in the department and we talked a lot, right? Outside of that, Um, I am starting to develop friends in other areas. I develop friends because I like to go bowling, like I said, and
Right.
also go to the gym. So I have gym friends, and people that I see at the bowling alley from time to time. We're not
Hmm.
really friends, but when we're there, we'll hey, how you doing? Oh, that was a nice strike, or just kind of like chat it up. The gym friends, I meet them more frequently because we go to the gym, the same gym, and it's usually on the same days. But we don't really hang out outside of the gym, which is
Hmm.
why I consider them gym friends and just
Right.
not friends in general. Like they're kind of like down here.
Hmm.
They're a little bit, they're probably still in the Soto a little bit for me.
Right.
And but yeah, that's kind of how my current situation. That's kind of my current situation with my friends. Not a
Hmm.
lot. Um, and even the ones I do have, we don't. It's not like you said. I don't message them every day. I do see them at work. Uh, because we work in the same department. Actually one of them got moved, so only one of them's left in the department. So um, but yeah, I'll hang out with them from time to time. That's kind of that's
Hmm.
where I'm at right now with
Right.
my and the reason I asked you that question, Marty,
Yes.
the answer got kind of long for the both of us,
Yes.
is because of this concept of uchi and soto, it can be quite difficult to kind of break in from the soto to the uchi, going
Mm.
from the outside to the inside. Going
Yes.
from the yoso to the soto might not be as difficult. All it takes is just an interaction or two.
Right.
To kind of solidify you being connected with them in some way to forming that concave, that relationship. But going from the soto, from the outside to the inside, takes
Mm.
a lot, and I mean a lot of effort.
Yeah.
It takes some time, and I won't say it's super unlike other places. Like obviously, if you want to become really good friends with anyone anywhere, you have to. It takes time.
Yes.
Anything takes time, but
Mm.
I would just say it takes a little bit more time
Mm.
in Japan, and even more so for foreigners with making Japanese friends. Right? If it was like two Japanese people, it might be a little bit faster.
Right.
It probably still takes time and work and
Mm.
effort, but as foreigners, it takes considerably much more time. And there
Mm.
are a few reasons about why that is, but how would you say for you, Marty? Do you feel that it actually took you a while before you actually made Japanese for people you consider friends who are
Right.
Japanese?
Mm. I would say so. On top of that, I would also say that there is more fragility in the interaction at the
Mm.
beginning. So when you're still in the Soto, when you're still meeting the people for the very few first times, a lot of relations, like friendly relation, interpersonal relation, without the romantic part. So we are not talking about romantic part, the flirting and stuff. All this aside, the simple interaction is feels a little bit more frail in Japan compared to the Europe, for example, when you are meeting someone for a couple of times and then there is not a good match, and then you kind of drag away from each other. There is at the beginning you can lose a lot of interactions. I mean, you can lose potential friends because your relationship did not get past those few beginning steps. That was the feeling that I had, especially during our GTW program, where we met a lot of
Mm.
people because of the nature of our stay to Japan, where it's like you have only 1 year and you have to make the best out of it. And it really felt like, of course, you're meeting more people that what you usually do in your regular life, let's say. The university context also leads you to meeting a lot of friends. But it really felt like it was very much a hit and miss, and there were more miss than hits, where you meet someone for a couple of times, maybe you eat together and stuff, you eat lunch, and the fact that you eat lunch with someone as a European would think, oh, we are getting somewhere, and then poof, they disappear from your life, and you're like, what happened? That was my feeling personally.
What's
What
going
about you?
on?
Yeah. What about you, Domo?
I had a similar experience. as you did, Marty, especially at JTW, because it was exactly as you said. We're on a college campus, which makes it easy to meet a lot of different people. But it that's all it is. It makes it
Mm,
easier to meet them. It
yes.
doesn't make it easier to become friends. And
Mm,
I had like a how do I want to say this, a true chance to make Japanese friends in the table tennis club.
right.
Uh,
Yes.
and so I joined the table tennis club at Kyushu University. At the time I was really into table tennis. I just wanted to practice a place where I could practice and improve my skills. I was by no means like great or even good at the game. Uh, I just wanted to practice, but not realizing, Japanese clubs are very hardcore.
Yes.
It was very tough at the beginning.
Mm,
We got used to it a little bit. Um, but we had came to JTW in September,
yes.
which is halfway through the semester for
Mm,
Japanese students. They start in April.
mm,
So coming in September and joining the club in like maybe it was like November, December when I joined the club. Maybe even at the beginning of like the new year. I don't remember exactly when it was,
right.
but I'm in there. I'm trying to talk and engage in conversation with people, and it starts off well. It starts off good. Like Japanese people are very polite. They'll talk to you. But
Right.
it kind of like it'll die down,
Mm,
after a while. And I noticed that because I came in the middle of the semester, everyone already had their little cliques, right?
mm,
Like groups, friends who all, they have classes together.
mm,
They obviously they're in the same club together. They probably eat together, eat lunch, eat dinner together. They probably do a lot of things together, and then it's just me, right? I am completely on the Soto, even though I've joined the Uchi of the table tennis club.
right.
Within the table tennis club, I'm still on the Soto,
Mm,
and I tried. Now maybe I could have probably done much more, done things differently, but I feel like I tried enough
mm,
to try to infiltrate into those groups. It
right.
didn't work,
Mm,
and I had a conversation with a Japanese, what was it, like a third year? It was second, third year, kind of like a engineering student. Uh, and I was probably closer to the Uchi with him than, other Japanese people because he also spoke English and stuff like
mm,
that. So he was probably already like interested in, the outside world of Japan,
right.
stuff outside of Japan,
Mm,
the other, and
yes.
foreigners and stuff like that. And I was always asking, I was like, it seems very difficult to make friends in Japan. At least at that time with my limited experience only on the college campus.
Right.
So obviously I haven't had a chance to really go out in the real world and make
Yes.
friends. But I was like, I find it really difficult to make friends or make long lasting connections and relationships here on the campus. And he had told me something that kind of stuck with me, and it was the idea of a lot of Japanese students, on the campus.
Yes.
Um, they are like one, they really know how to interact with foreigners just in general. Most Japanese people don't, unless
Yes. Yes.
you Tokyo or something, uh, or someplace where there's a lot of foreigners.
Mm,
And right, there's that they don't know if you speak Japanese or English, right? Obviously, there might be a language barrier thing, but the main thing is it takes effort and time to make friends, and they know that we're exchange students, so we're only here temporarily,
yes.
and taking the time to try to become friends with this person who
Mm,
might not even speak Japanese or might speak very broken Japanese. You might not even be able to communicate with him.
mm,
And they're only going to be here for a limited amount of time anyway. And after they're gone, you might not even hear from them again.
right.
It's a lot of work and hassle for little to no like reward, right? You don't really
Right.
get to make this friendship. And I was like, huh, like, in that
Makes sense.
context of being an exchange student, I was like, that makes sense.
Right.
Um, Never really thought about it that way. Yeah.
It is also a tangent to the Uchi and Soto discussion that we're having, but it's something I came to realize recently now that I am not in Japan anymore. So now that I am in
Mm,
Paris, I feel a urge to reach out to Japanese communities or Japanese stores and
Oh.
shop and everything, simply because I miss the country and everything. Not that I have integrated no Japanese society for the time being, but it is something that I would like to define as the foreigner paradox, where you are a foreigner interested in Japan, whether you are in France or you are in Japan, your main interest is Japan. So you can say you're a
Mm.
weeb. You may love anime, manga to die for, but there are other type of weebs. There are people that are super into history. They are super into mythology. They are super into whatever. The fact that their passion is so great, it's so strong that they made them move to Japan and study this
Mm.
very hard language and brace with all the difficulties that this society. So it's a very difficult place to get into Japan, both visa wise and language, society, culture wise. So the sole fact that you're interested in Japan, it means that you are really, really you feel for Japan very strongly. The problem is that the Japanese that are interested in the foreigners feel the same for the
Mm.
outside, for the country they love,
Mm.
right? So now I
Mm.
feel that even if I integrate a Japanese club or a Japanese society, my profile wouldn't be very interesting for those Japanese that they have made the effort to come to France to study French, to live in Paris, which is a shithole. Sorry, Parisian, but it is true. So no, I love Paris. Never mind.
No,
Forget. It's not a shithole. It's a dumpster, but that's jokes aside.
not a shithole,
No,
but
no,
it's
no,
a
no.
step up. It's a
No,
dumpster.
no. But no. Let's be kind to Paris. But the fact is that coming back to the thing is that they don't care. I mean, they naturally so there is no mutual interest because I would want to talk about Japan, about the thing I'm passionate about Japan, and they couldn't care less. And vice versa, those Japanese people they are very much interested in America, in France, in Italy, they couldn't care less
Oh.
about Japan. They want to speak about Italy or France. But if you speak to me about France, I don't care.
Yeah, yeah. You don't care, yeah.
They're like,
That's
France is such a
interesting.
beautiful country. I'm like, sorry, but they have the
Is
same reaction. They have the same reaction when you speak to them about Japan. You say, I love Japan. It's such a beautiful country. And they're like, what are you talking about?
I
Do
don't know
you
about
see
that,
all
Chief.
these problems?
Yeah, I've never thought about that. That's
Yeah,
interesting because, like, the idea of like you call it the foreigner paradox, where we're interested in Japan, Japanese, and language, the culture, even anime and media and stuff like that. So we go to Japan and vice versa. Those who are interested in outside of Japan, whether that's Europe or anything in the West or in Australia or
yes.
something like that, they'll go outside of leave
Mm.
Japan, and so that leaves you with inside of Japan those who are not really interested in
Why
the
bother?
outside, the
Yeah.
people in the Soto. You know, that's interesting. And I like to call this is something. This is I don't know if
Mm.
hopefully it doesn't sound racist, but
It's usually
it's a
racist.
term I
When you say I hope it does not sound racist, usually you're about to say some racist joke, but
right.
go
No,
ahead, embrace it.
no, no. It's the term that I coined when I was in the
Mm,
and during JTW was I noticed there were two different types of Japanese people on the
right.
campus, right?
Yes.
There are those who uh, it was the engineering campus, right, Ito campus. So there are a lot of very smart people, right?
Right.
But a lot of them were either very interested in foreigners and studying abroad or
Right.
learning English or learning some other foreign language, whether it's English or not. There was a lot of people. I was taking Chinese at the time. I met a lot of Japanese people who were taking Chinese and stuff
Right.
like that. French. I know there was a couple of people even within the JTW program, like some of the
Yes.
tutors
Yes.
who
We're
who,
studying
who
French.
learned
Yes.
French and stuff like
Mm,
that. Yeah, and those who are like will like kind of they've lost that kind of tatemae, that the
yes.
standard default tatemae wall
Mm,
that most Japanese people have,
Yes.
when interacting with foreigners, because either they've been outside of the country before and they have experience with foreigners outside the country or in Japan,
Yes.
or they're interested in doing so. And so
Yes.
they're learning about the language and they're trying to interact with foreigners in any way they can.
Yes.
And then there are those who are not that, which I like to call the pure Japanese.
Japanese.
Um, yeah,
Nipponjin. They
yeah,
all
the
beloved.
Nihon. And so hopefully that wasn't racist, you guys. If it was, you can bleep it out
No, 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 no.
in post.
I don't think
But
so. I don't think so.
yeah, I don't like. Yeah, I don't think so, but you never
Mm,
know with the internet.
who
But
knows?
so the pure Japanese, they are those who born raised in Japan,
Mm,
only know Japanese,
yes.
um, have no interest in anything outside of Japan. Like they feel like even like taking a vacation outside of Japan, like they're not even interested in that.
Right.
They think Japan is, you know, where they want to be for the rest of their life,
I mean,
and they have no interest in foreigners or
yes.
the outside.
That confirms the
And
fact that,
yeah,
sorry to interrupt you, but you should know,
no,
I
no, go ahead.
think, if I remember correctly, only 12% of the whole Japanese population has a passport. That shows that, I mean, besides the sayings, the data also says that not many people care enough about the outside to make a passport. So it would be
Yeah,
pretty straightforward. So yes, please, you can come back to
no, no,
your
no,
thoughts.
no, that's a great statistic. I didn't know
Mm.
that. I had no idea that so few people, Japanese people, had passports,
I
and
think it's 12%, or it may be 30%. Anyway, it's a very low number compared to
it's very
the
low. Yeah,
like Western or G7 and G20 countries.
yeah. No, no, because like I say like pure Japanese, but you can say
Mm.
this for like any country.
Yes.
There are, I think most Americans are pure Americans, where they only know English, they
Right.
only love America, they don't have any interest in anything outside of America. Anyone who comes to
Yeah.
America
Mm.
better learn American, and
Be
you know,
American.
be American, you know, and they interact with foreigners who don't speak English as a second language, and it there's a lot of like lost in translation stuff because they're not really sure
Yes.
how to interact with foreigners and
Yeah.
how to dial down their accent or their
Mm.
whatever their
Right.
dialect or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So going back to the
So
Japanese side of things,
yes.
yeah,
Go ahead.
no,
Go
no,
ahead.
yeah, it's,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. So so as Marty eloquently told us, informed us, is that most Japanese people don't have a passport. So that already tells you, that shows you how few people are interested in going abroad or anything outside of Japan.
Right.
And so us coming into Japan trying to interact with them it might not be a problem, but it'll like they truly are just like, yeah, I don't have any interest in not only say in you because then you start taking it as a personal attack, but
Right.
like as you people as a group foreigners,
Mm.
and they'll entertain you. Don't get me wrong. They'll talk with you. They'll interact with
Mm.
you, but it might not go any further than that. Um,
Unless
and a lot of
you
Japanese people, yeah,
yes, unless you tune down your weakness, your passion for Japan enough to go beyond the simple fact that you're interacting with Japanese and go back on a more
mm,
like human level. But if you're just stuck in the Japan kind of vibe, maybe difficult for most people to find some terrain of discussion, I think.
exactly. No, yeah, it's I try, and again, I was speaking about the college campus life.
Yes.
Um, Outside of that, I mean, it's still difficult. Don't get me wrong.
Mm,
It's still hard to make friends with Japanese people who are shakaijin, right? They're adults
yeah.
in working society and work in this current society, this current world, crazy world we're living in. Um,
Where they work
and they
a
don't
lot.
really have
Mm,
the mental like just like capacity for like,
mm,
okay, now I'm gonna have a foreign friend
yeah.
who add them to my. It's a lot,
Too much of
and
a
you
hassle.
know, and
So
the
about that, 'cause we have
yeah,
been spending the last 50 minutes talking about Soto and Yoso and how it feels to be in the outside of
yeah,
the Japanese society, let's say. Let's
Mm,
society as in broadly, not society as emarginated from society, but more on the social aspect, social life, let's say, outside of the
yeah, yeah,
social life. What about right after this podcast, we record the second part, the part two of this talk, where we will be focusing more on the uchi and how,
yeah,
as
yeah, yeah.
foreigners, we can get to a certain extent into the uchi and we can become more acquainted with like social interactions in Japan, so that we bring this discussion to a hard stop and then we bid you farewell to part two that will probably be published in 1 week after this podcast, so that we keep the back and forth, but we will
Yeah.
record just after this. I'm talking about this, but he's not aware about this yet, so it's just discovering that I'm asking him to record another hour after this talk.
No,
So
no, 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 no.
I will keep you updated if we were able to do it or not.
No, yeah, yeah. I also realized we were going quite long on the Soto,
Yes.
right? There was no talk of Uchi at any
Not
point.
so point. So let's
Not at
consecrate to
all.
a whole episode on Uchi as well, so that we can balance things.
Yeah, yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah.
it would be a very long episode.
I think that's good.
Mm,
Because talking about the Soto, I think is important,
yes.
right? Because you're gonna spend a lot of your time in the Soto.
Mm,
But once you're in the Uchi, you're in the Uchi, and
you
we'll
better
talk
not fuck
about
it up.
that.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll talk about that in the next episode.
Yes. So with this stated, we can bid you farewell. Thank you for listening up to now. If you were listening, if you skipped to the end, I'm sorry for you. And I don't know. See you next week. And as always, we can say a nice and well, soigi.
Soy